All right, all right. How's everyone doing this afternoon? It's been a hot minute since I have streamed from this account. Um, I'm in for kind of a chill afternoon. I hope y'all are too. We're going to be doing some coding today. I hope audio levels are lovely. I hope that the chill tunes are coming through. Do let me know if they ever stop because I get to keep hearing them, and sometimes the stream cuts out. So let me know about that. I've got this kind of this piece of functionality I'm working on. I work at Algolia for my overall day job, a search and discovery company with some great APIs. And I wrote some Netlify functions for doing YouTube ingestion. Like ingestion being bringing data into our search indices. And it works and I like it. But I kind of started having random other ideas around how I could make it better and make it kind of its own little standalone tool, which I think is an interesting idea. Right now, it's like a super simple front end, and it has a lot of non-polish to it, right? So I ingested a whole bunch of YouTube videos, and I brought the embeds all throughout. So there's like 50 YouTube embeds on this single page, and like that's a terrible idea. And so I want to, instead of having this be like a front end to show, I want to create a little dashboard where you can do some data syncing. Because I've got a few different Netlify functions that I kind of want to make a little easier to use. Also, I want somebody to be able to like grab this and maybe make their own YouTube search engine, which I think would be interesting. And so right now it pops up and you get like put your channel ID in here. And I want to kind of make it so that anytime you want to add a new channel to it, you can just toss a URL. So I think that's interesting. So yeah, let's kind of talk about. Oh, that's the intro. There we go. Rusty. All right. Also, you'll notice if you are a long-time viewer that there's some changes. I, through multiple computer moves, have lost like all my old assets. So yeah, we're purple. I like purple. It'll work out. So yeah, this is kind of where it's at right now. There's actually a GitHub repository for all of this, which is interesting, and it has a like deploy to Netlify button, which I always enjoy. So this is actually a place that you can actually use some API keys and like just use it. And so I just want to make this kind of a better experience overall. But there is this lovely deploy to Netlify button here. Hey, Max Limits, how's it going? First time. Appreciate you stopping by. We're doing some Algolia, we're doing some Astro, we're doing some Netlify functions. We're just getting started, and yeah, there's no more unicorn I'm testing. I'm sorry. Yeah. Now you can still feed Pixel, who is the unicorn mascot. There are still channel points. For the most part, I'll respect all of those. However, yeah, Pixel is gone. I've got that asset somewhere, but like my stream overlay, which was all HTML and CSS and JavaScript, that is just broken, just completely and utterly broken. So technically it still exists. I still have it. It's still a Netlify site too. You can like go to, I think it's like broboverlay.netlify.app or whatever. And like it was built with mostly vanilla JavaScript, I think, but I had Parcel doing the building, and it was Parcel 1.0, and some dependency issues happened in there. So it doesn't work anymore. So yeah, Pixel died a pretty quiet, horrible death. And I haven't told my son that, who was 4 when I made it and constantly wanted me to spend channel points to do that. But yeah, he's 6. I think maybe he can handle it. We'll tell him that Pixel's no more. So yeah, so this is the Netlify YouTube ingest repository. I'll share this in chat. I think it's interesting enough on its own. And you can basically click that deploy to Netlify button, fill out your YouTube API key, your Algolia app ID, and some other environment variables, which theoretically, I'll click this real fast. Theoretically, Netlify should ask you for. It doesn't always, and I gotta figure out why it's not doing that. It might just be my own stuff. It's like, oh, we already kind of know you. But theoretically, that button should ask you for some environment variables. You fill those in, and then you can basically index a YouTube channel. And this is what it looks like. I've got, let me actually go in. Where's my JavaScript file? Search.js. Let me revert back to having the iframes. This is a bad idea. You should never have this many YouTube iframes on a page. But you can see like they kind of load in, not a great UI or anything like that right now. But I can do a search. I can find like all the Node videos that have been kind of coming through these various YouTube channels. Hey, Coder Destin, cool. First time in chat. Appreciate you stopping by today. So yeah, so I look for Node. It does some Algolia stuff out of the box, like highlighting the words that are used. Here's James Quick, a friend of mine. A lot of great developer channels I ingested. Popped over from the Learn. Oh, I forgot that the bot still has my channel in it. I haven't streamed on this channel in forever. So Coder Destin came in from the Learn Build Teach Discord. Speaking of James Q Quick, that's his Discord, and it's a great place for people who are learning to code and doing some great stuff with the mantra of learn something, build something, and then you can teach it. And so I think that's a great thing to do. We're gonna be doing that a little bit today because I have no clue what I'm doing with Astro yet. So yeah, so this is kind of where it's at right now. The few things that are happening, there's a static JavaScript file. There's a little bit of a static CSS file, just doing like the absolute basic styles on some things. The search.js, all this is doing is using Algolia Instant Search, which is a JavaScript client for doing live search on your site. It's making a search box, and then it's basically creating a place for those results to appear. And it's doing it in like the super most low end way it could possibly do. And then on the index page, we've got some CSS, we've got some like straight up like just HTML written there. And then here is our container for where our search box goes. And that's actually going to then bring all of that in. Oh no, here it is down here. And then our hits are all the way down here. And that's where all those results go in. So I'm going to do this. I think we're probably going to get into React a little bit with it because Astro doesn't have any support for Algolia's widgets out of the box right now. But what Astro does give us is support for React or Vue or Preact or maybe even Angular in there. I don't know. So yeah, so like right now I'm doing some initialization. I have a front-end framework on this right now. I've got Eleventy, a static site builder. The one and only reason I'm using Eleventy right now is because I didn't feel like figuring out an entire build process to get some environment variables. Because right now, when you create one of these via that Netlify deploy to Netlify, you fill out those environment variables and you get the opportunity to basically have this work. And to make the front end work, I need the environment variables. I need to know what your Algolia app ID is, which is a public thing. So you don't have to put that in an environment variable. And I have to know what your search only API key is for Algolia. And I didn't want to make somebody come into code and do that. I wanted them to just be able to do it straight from the Netlify deploy. And I didn't want to write a build process for it. And so I just chose Eleventy because I knew I could do that in about 10 minutes. But now I don't think I like this concept, this kind of front end, and I want to make a dashboard for it. So we're going to rewrite some bits of this in Astro, which I don't know who's familiar or not with Astro. I'm not overly. I've used it. So I was on Learn with Jason last week, doing some Algolia stuff with Jason Langsdorff, and he had written the front end for what we were doing. It was supposed to go with Jamstack.conf. It was supposed to be like live during Jamstack.conf. They had Bird hit a transformer. They couldn't do any sort of live streaming that day. So we did it about a week and a half later. And so we spent like, there was 3 hours that day, 2 hours another day. I was the tail end of the first day. And he built all of that in Astro.js. So I got to learn a little bit about it for Astro. I built my own little proof of concept with my son's art website. My son has an art website. He randomly put his name.com on a piece of art he drew for school in kindergarten. And I was like, okay, I can make that a domain. Like I can make that work. And so like I put a couple of photos up, just had it be kind of statically generated. And then he asked for a like button and told him that as long as he kept putting art on there, I would make him a like button. And so I ended up using Slinkity with it, but I started playing with Astro on that. Slinkity being an Eleventy thing. But the cool thing about Astro is if you saw at Jamstack.conf, there was a great presentation by Rich Haynes, called, I don't even remember what it was called. Let's take a look. Let's see. Oh, they took down the schedule. Where is it? Let's see. Rich Haynes. There. Oh, Rich Harris. I'm sorry, Rich Harris. It's now called transitional apps, but I think it was originally called like Are single page apps killing the web or something like that. A little bit more controversial, but this is an amazing video and I highly recommend it to everyone. And it's kind of this idea that single page apps do some things really well, but they break some conventions of the web. Multi-page apps, which is what some people are starting to refer to as like traditional, like either static or server rendered pages, they do some things incredibly well. But there's this middle ground that neither does particularly well. Multi-page applications don't do super good interactions super well, and you lose like page transitions and stuff like that. And single-page applications, you're basically rewriting browser functionality in your framework of choice, and so that's not like a great idea. And he walks through, I think, very well the pros and cons of both, and then kind of posits that like the future of the web is this middle ground, this idea of transitional web apps. And I like that. I think that's a cool idea. And so Astro is one of the first frameworks that's actively trying to find this kind of transitional middle ground. And so what it does is it statically builds all of your assets into just like a static site, like a traditional static site generator, and then has this idea of islands, which what's this link to? The islands architecture, where you can actually have most of the things on the page rendered statically and then have a couple islands of interaction, which is, I think, a really interesting look at it. So things that you need to be dynamic beyond most of the page, but not like having your entire thing in like a div with an app ID, right? Like just individual pieces of content being rehydrated on the fly. I think it's kind of the promise of single pages realized. Single page apps realized. So I like that. And so I'm starting to play with it. I really want to get into it. I struggled a little bit with it around some data stuff that like 11D just has out of the box, but I think it's got a really nice future to it. Getting all sorts of like random notifications on my watch. So I want to convert over to that. I think I'm going to use this kind of minimal starter from Astro, and I got to kind of figure out exactly how I want to replace things. So let's kind of dive in. I'm going to keep it in this directory because I want to keep these netlify functions. I don't want to be lazy about it. Netlify functions are for grabbing a channel's videos and then being able to update the channel's videos by URL. So I can send a URL to this function and it will make a new record in my index. And then some regular interval update all the statistics for it. So I'll put this to my YouTube channel later on and it'll automatically go into my own personal index for my videos. And then it will get some views, right? Ideally. And I want to update that to use as a ranking signal inside of Algolia so that when you do a search for CSS in my channel, you would see ones not only that are relevant to CSS, but are popular in that as well. So use that as a ranking signal. I can show that off here in a few minutes too. Wow. Yeah, I got to turn off those embeds. This index page is probably going away anyway, but let's kill that for the moment. Bring that back to just a list item. Hey, I appreciate the follow there. Let's see, Sino Byte Offsec. Let's go with that. How's it going today? I hope you're doing well. So yeah, let's take a look. So a few things that we're definitely not going to need. First, let's get a new branch. Astro. All right, that brings over a few changes. That's fine. We want those changes. All right, we don't need a few things in here. Let's get rid of our 11D config, which is not really much of anything. And we don't need a data directory anymore. So this was all just to get those environment variables. Let's leave that for now. That shouldn't be a big deal. Let's get rid of site. All right. And index, let's keep. All right, let's go ahead and see what happens when I run this command. npm init astro template minimal. Let's see what we get out of that. Oh, okay. Do I want to proceed? Yes, I do want to proceed. Oh, asking lots of questions. I don't want to overwrite. Okay, so let's put this all into another directory. Make dir Astro, and then cd into Astro, and let's run that here. All right, let's see what happens. Oh, well, that was easy. That was relatively painless, huh? Let's see. Most of the stuff we want to move into our root. What do I need out of this? Do I need anything? This is where oh, thank you for the follow, Macy. I appreciate that. This is where I run into trouble more often than not. I like to do things in a way that maybe cause more headaches than good, but I do want to keep things together. Hey, how's it going? More learn, build, teach, folks. How's it going, Mac? Appreciate you tuning in today. I was saying earlier, I forget, it's been so long since I've run on this channel that I'm still in like the learn, build, teach bot. Like, thanks. I was always going to get back, right? So here we are. So do feel free as we kind of go along. I'm basically just treating this as a way of having to build. Like I want to get this a little bit more polished. So. Oh, it looks like Axios is already in both. We will need... do I have both of these open? Yeah, all right. We need the other package.json. All right, let's take a look at that. Okay, yeah, very few dependencies on this one. We need most of these dependencies, probably. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say we need these. No comma there. And let's see. As a poll, you know the thing about polishing. That's it. I really actually struggle. I'm like, every time I write the word polish, I think about it. I'm like, Polish. Yeah. So welcome to the stream with that joke. Let's see. All right. So got those moved over. There's really not a whole lot of other stuff. So I think we're okay to overwrite that. So let's grab all the other pieces and bring it into our root and let's just break stuff. I'm very much of the break stuff driven development. So let's see, site ID is fine. Okay. Oh, I did lose my my git ignore, some of my custom git ignore. So there's that. Let's get our .netlify folder out of there as well. All right. Let's see, especially if you have to remove some nail polish. Wow. You're everyone's on a roll. So yeah, git ignore updated. That's good. Package.json's gone. This one's saved in. Astro config, we don't have any default renderers yet. We'll need to fix that because I'm going to use React, I think. I guess we should talk through what we need to do. That's usually a good idea, right? So let's see. Step 1, convert from 11D front end to Astro. That's in progress. We got step 2. We need to create a dashboard style of some sort on this. We're going to create a dashboard. The dashboard will have... we need list of videos, which we already have. That's already working. We'll have to convert that over. We need a button to input and button to index of video. Now, the concept on, oh, what's up, James? It is a new stream layout. It is a lazy stream layout. I lost all my old stream layout is built with Parcel V1 and was completely and utterly broken. And so I just threw together a couple quick things in Stream Elements to kind of get going again. As low effort as possible to get up and running. Thanks, I appreciate it. We got some little things around, a few nice areas here. The office is pretty good. I mean, you know, it's not bad. You can't quite see. There's a cat behind me down there. Always good stuff around. So yeah, I'm actually upstairs now. So like the last time I would have streamed was at my old house, and that was another place in Michigan where I live, and I was in the basement, and that was okay. It wasn't bad, but now I get to be on the main floor, which is excellent. So yeah, we need an input to take a URL, a YouTube URL. And actually, James, since you're here, I think I'm doing Learning Quick with you in like a couple weeks, pretty sure. And I actually made these Netlify functions specifically so that I'd be ready for that, so that we could actually ingest your YouTube videos. But now I'm making it even bigger and even broader. Something went wrong with redeemed soapbox. I don't know if you want, just tell me, Mac, what kind of soapbox you want. It used to be I used to have a randomizer in there. There was like all sorts of stuff. Coded Live coming with a raid. Welcome, y'all. How is it going? I haven't streamed to this account in like a year and a half. So welcome to my first stream back. We're doing some fun stuff with Algolia, Astrojs, and all sorts of stuff. So how was the stream that y'all are coming from? Let me scroll up. Coded Live. How was the Coded Live stream today? What was happening? What were y'all building, playing with, anything like that? Let me know. We are building with Astro. My site is down right now because I completely deleted a whole bunch of files that we didn't need for rebuilding the front end. But you can actually see it live, I think. Let me see if I've got the URL saved somewhere. Let me go to GitHub. Let me open up a new. Here we go. If y'all want to take a look at what we're playing with today, I've got this GitHub repository. It is a YouTube ingestion engine for Algolia. So you can have your own YouTube search engine. And right now I've got a front end that was built with 11 because I needed it at the time, but I'm building a dashboard around for it. First timer, welcome to all the first timers. Y'all were learning React. Excellent. It was a good proper 101. I've been meaning to do this idea of basics with Brob, basics with brob, which I have a URL for. And the first one was this idea of getting started with React. So I hope that was great for y'all. I hope you learned a lot from that stream. Lots of great first timers. Thank you for all the different follows, Ryan and Haftameo. So yeah, appreciate it. Soapbox about cloud gaming. Okay. Dipping your toes into Parsec remote desktop. I don't know. I don't really have a soapbox around cloud gaming. I actually absolutely love the idea of cloud gaming. I'm a long-term console gamer. Let's go heads up. How's it going, y'all? Welcome everyone who just came in. And thank you again for all the follows. I'll try to catch up with that in a few minutes. Oh, it's behind. OBS, what are you doing to me? Anyway, cloud gaming. I've never had a gaming PC. Since I was 5, and I'm turning 37 later this month. Since I was like 5, my family was a Mac household, an Apple household. We had a Mac Classic when I was a teeny one, and that was a black and white screen. It was great. It was like a one-piece thing. But I learned not to have games on computers, and it kind of sucks sometimes. So I like the idea that I can have a decent little laptop, not anything special, and as long as I've got a good enough broadband connection, I can use that to play awesome games in the cloud. Now, at this point, I'm also kind of like a Switch gamer. Like, I really enjoy Nintendo Switch because I can play it on my big screen. I can take it up to my bed. I can play handheld mode. I really like that idea. So the more we can get towards that, I think there's going to be an awful lot of cool applications that can come around based on that. So I really like that idea. Hey, what's up, Rocket DevRel? I haven't had a chance to catch one of your streams yet, but I see them coming up all the time. I hope y'all are doing well. I don't know if that's Chris or not, but if it's Chris, what up, man? How's it going? So yeah, I'm going to, I promise. Most of the time I end up pulling them up for like the first like 15 minutes for like all my streamers that I watch, and then like get into a meeting and all sorts of stuff. I mean, I'm sure you know that life in a lot of ways. So yeah, thanks for the follow, Aztec and Rocket Devrel and Ivana and Raptmai and all y'all who joined in recently. I appreciate that. Coderplex saying, love cloud gaming when you can play on mobile, big screen. Yeah, exactly. Like that's the dream, right? That's like, this is kind of where I want to be. And I think that's coming, and I think it's going to be so cool. But yeah, best graphics on the lowest tier machines. Like, that's awesome. Now, the downside, right, is that then you've got like another monthly charge. And I've already got like 4 monthly charges for streaming services, and I've got my broadband service and all these other things. So I got a lot of monthly. But here's the thing. And here's the thing that I can't get from cloud gaming. I just discovered, and this is amazing, I discovered about a month ago, my local library has video game checkout, free video game checkout. For not just like when I first heard about it, I went there, and we go there weekly. My 6-year-old is like a huge reader. He loves reading. So we're regularly getting like new books. And I happened to see it in the distance. And I walked over, I was like, okay, they probably got like PS3 games, Xbox 360 games, like old stuff nowadays that like, okay, they probably had that. Went over, and like the very first thing I saw was they had, I mean, only 2, but they had 2 PS5 games. And then they had like a whole bunch of PS4 games, Xbox One games, Switch games, all sorts of stuff. And so we've been doing that a lot. We've been checking out games. I played games that I would probably never have spent $60 on. Like I tried out the new Pokemon Sword game, which I actually really enjoyed. It's the first Pokemon game I've enjoyed probably since Red back in the day. So I've been doing that for free, and it's been amazing, to be honest. I really have enjoyed dipping my toe back into a lot of that gaming. So anyway, I love the idea of cloud gaming because it means that I can have that and not have to worry about like consoles get out of date super fast, and console graphics are usually not as good as like a good high-end PC. Well, I actually apparently do have a soapbox. Thanks, Mac, for redeeming your pixel points, your cupcakes on that. I apparently have a soapbox around it. But I said realizing the dream. Games are an art form, and libraries have a history of lending out artwork. Yeah, no, exactly. And like, I'm really surprised. Like, I live in a suburb of Detroit, Michigan, right? About 30 minutes west of Detroit. And it's not a huge city, but like my city's library, which is connected to all the Michigan libraries, also allows me to find video games from other libraries that charge like $1 for a rental and get those for free. I only get to keep those for a week, but I get to keep the other ones a little bit longer. Yeah, Detroit, man, I'm up here. I'm up here with you. My wife's family's from here. I've been in Michigan for about 1.5 years now. The other day sort of went, so I was actually over in Brighton, but I'm not over there now. So Kensington was only like 10 minutes away from me about 4 months ago. I'm in Livonia now, so I'm a little bit closer to Detroit than I was before. But yeah, Detroit, Michigan's been treating me pretty well. Yeah, no, I'm close by, man. I'm around. Anyway, let's go back into the screen share mode. When did I move to? Only about like 3 months ago. We bought this house. We moved in time for my son to start school. So he started school end of August, early September. So been over here since about a week before that. So like mid-August is when we moved. So not very long at all. Nice. Yeah, I like Livonia overall. It's been pretty nice. We got a really cool neighborhood with a bunch of like other 6-year-olds around, which has been excellent. Yeah. That's right down the street, man. I mean, I'm not 7 Mile, but I'm close by. I like any time like I punctuate a phrase with a sip. I feel like Kermit saying, but that's none of my business. Anyway, so yeah, I was saying like with the idea of cloud gaming, right? Realizing kind of some of the dream of some of like console gaming, but with like PC custom built niceness. Astro, to like segue us back in, right? Segue back in. Astro, I feel like, and Slinkity, which is Eleventy's plugin for doing the same kind of islands architecture, is realizing kind of some dreams of this kind of idea of transitional apps and this idea of having all the niceties of your full front end frameworks, but without shipping all that JavaScript to the client and only shipping like a little bit of JavaScript for the little bit of interaction you've got. So I think that's really interesting. And I do think that we're getting to this point where we can do these transitional apps. And I really like these frameworks that are coming out that are doing it. So yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do today. I've had some rabbit holes, and I love rabbit holes. I know it's been a little while since I've been streaming, but for those of you who watched back in the day, rabbit holes are a favorite of mine. So let's see if we can get this up and running real fast. I just did the command in terminal to get Astro set up, moved all of the stuff to my root because it wanted its own directory. I wanted to keep. I've got some Netlify functions up here to do my YouTube ingest stuff. And let's get this up and running real fast. Let's npm install, and let's continue working on our list. So we also want an input and a button to ingest an entire YouTube channel's content. So this would take a channel ID or a URL. What does this take? I think it's just a channel ID. Channel ID. Excellent. Look at that. Awesome. Most of this, to be honest, is written with GitHub Copilot because I am terrible at remembering syntax. So we're going to have an input and a button for channel ID and max results, which is going to be the number of videos to get back because the YouTube API requires that. I've got it set at 20 right now, but if you've got like a huge channel, you'd obviously want to do a lot more than that. Then we want to be able to update the stats on videos. And so what's this function doing? This function is, I think I'm getting a channel. Where am I destructuring that? Oh, no, I'm not. Okay, what am I doing? Oh, okay, no, I'm not even doing that. Excellent. So what I'm doing in this function, it's been like a month since I wrote this, is I'm actually grabbing the Algolia index and I'm updating every single video in it. So I'm not even doing video by video. So it's going back and hitting the YouTube API and it's getting all the updated counts. Oh no, we have an npm error. What's going on here? So one time fix up, please be patient, and then it errored. That's no good. Let's just run it again. When in doubt, right? No such directory. Why am I in trash? Oh, let's see. Yeah, awesome. Let's see. Let's go home, docs, dev. What's this one called? YouTube ingest. All right. Ha. It's what happens when you CD inside of your project terminal. Ooh, CSS fun fact. What does this button do? Well, that's not really a CSS fun fact, Mac, but a CSS fun fact would be that, did you know that container queries are coming? Container queries are going to be excellent. They are super experimental maybe in Chrome right now, but they're starting to be tested and they're starting to kind of go. And that will allow you to specify how things behave when a container changes its size and shape as opposed to the entire browser. So it's like a media query, but for like a small bit. And people have been clamoring for this idea for literally as long as responsive has been around. And it's finally starting to get worked on in the specs and in the browsers and is coming down the track. So CSS fun fact, container queries are coming. They're going to be awesome. I wish I did more writing and research on CSS nowadays. But I'm definitely behind the times. There's actually, let's find it real fast. I think there's a CSS Tricks article on it. Container queries. Yeah, here we go. I'll post this in chat. By Robin Rendell. He's a great writer. But yeah, kind of showcasing like when the container reaches a certain point, do something. And I guess this is actually coming over from a mod site, so let's post that as well. Make sure everyone gets the full look there. Thank you for the follow, Douglas. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. I hope you're enjoying your day so far. tea, anyone? Make sure you brew some tea. It's early afternoon for me. This is decaf now. I'm old. Can't do caffeine in the afternoon anymore unless I want to stay up all night. Anyway, hey, npm installed. Excellent. All right. So let's see what this template wants us to do. We've got a start. We've got a dev. We've got a build. We've got a preview. I wonder what preview does. I don't even know. So we don't actually want to run from npm on this. I've got Netlify set up inside this. I've got the Netlify CLI, and the Netlify CLI will give us access to these functions as well as all of these commands, or at least it should, and it should automatically know to run dev. So let's take a look and see what happens. It might still have some holdover from 11, and we'll have to fix that, but let's see. You can see a lot of stuff happening here. It automatically wants to go grab my environment variables from my Netlify installation or my Netlify instance. But if I have a local.n file, which I currently do, it will pull from those instead, which is a handy feature. And look, it actually worked. So we loaded the 3 functions. That's excellent. Server is listening there, but it will actually listen on our URL. Astro runs all of its magic, and then everything's up and running on localhost 8888. But it has nothing because we haven't actually done anything with that yet. So we got to kind of work our way through this a little bit. So the next thing that I think I need to do is, because I'm going to be lazy and not try to figure out Astro's component architecture yet, we're going to use React for this. So we need to do a React renderer. We need to install that. So let's find that. Let's see if I can find it just by search. Let's Google for this. Astro.js React component. I think Colby Fayok, another person that's in the Learn, Build, Teach server, I'm pretty sure, has written an article, spacejelly.dev, on using React inside of Astro. And I've used this a couple times to get up and running so far, and I have no memory. I'm a goldfish at this point. New Astro project, installing and configuring. Here we go. This is what we want. So we actually don't anymore need React and React DOM, I don't think. I kind of ran into this a little bit while I was playing with it. We did need this in an earlier version, but we do need Astro.js renderer React. So let's run that. Yep, Colby's in there. And James, James, you're super quick. Way to go. Bonus points. But plenty of points for you too, Mac. Don't worry. Bonus points for James. Still points for you. All right, so we've got the renderer. So now we need to update our Astro config. We have this renderers array here, and it takes a set of strings, which, as it turns out, looks like it is just the string of the npm package. Yep. All right, so we'll save that. And let's see, what else you got for us, Colby? Then we create a component. Awesome. So let's do that. Let's create a components directory in our source. I think we want that to be in our source. Yeah, see, in our source, we have a pages. The pages has an index. All this stuff in our root no longer matters anymore. I'm keeping them around, so I've got copy and paste if I need it. So let's see. We need, inside of our source directory, a new folder called components. And then we're going to have our first one. I'm going to go ahead and call this, we'll call it instant search. And this will be JSX. And let's just take his very simple button, just so I've got some boilerplate. All right, so we're actually going to have this be instant search. We need to export that by default. And right now we'll just have it be that button, and that's okay. And we'll replace that. And then we'll go to our index.astro, which this isn't like, Astro is, I almost like went like Wicked, even though I'm nowhere near from Boston. It's really amazing. I really like this idea that they've got. So a lot of places that like do markdown to HTML in some way, right? Your 11ds, your Hugos, your Jekylls, you write your markdown. Inside your markdown at the top, you've got these 3-dash delimited sections called front matter, and it allows you to store data. But what Astro does is this actually is like top level async await JavaScript that you can write up here. Super, super cool. I'm not going to do that right now. We don't actually have a need for that right now. But like, if I wanted to go and query an API up here. Typically, to do that, I'd have to do a whole bunch of either then hell, or I would have to go and just have it hopefully work out and run the way I want. But I can actually use async await in the front matter. Top level front matter. It's a killer feature inside of Astro. I really, really enjoy that concept. I don't remember who it was. Someone the other day on Twitter was like I would just love this in my React component. Oh, it was Simeon Griggs, who's over at Sanity nowadays as a solutions engineer and just a really great technical author. He's like, if I could have this in React, just like pure React, I'd be so happy. But yeah, we don't need this. What we can do now is I think we might need to import it up there. Yeah, so we're going to import this. This is going to go inside of our front matter, which our front matter is basically just JavaScript in Astro. So we want to import instant search from components. Oh no, I didn't copy. From instantsearch.jsx. Right, so let's see if this works out for us. So we want instant search, self-closing. Oh, error. What's our error? Big error. All right. I know it's probably hard for y'all to read. It's hard for me to read right now. Let's zoom in. Because this is your first time running this project, Snowpack needs to prepare your dependencies. Okay, that's fine. I scrolled too fast. All right, build result error. Problem with the fire build, unable to resolve renderer that handles JSX. I need to restart, I think, because I changed my Astro config. Nope, that's an npm install, nullify dev. Does that make sense, everyone? Like I changed my configuration. I need to restart. So let's see. All right, we do have a button. It is expecting children. So let's get some children. Hey. There we go. All right. Not what we want. We're not actually going to worry about this too much. But we do need instant search. So let me take a look and see if I've already got instant search. No, I just have Algolia search right now. So let's go grab instant search. So Algolia, instant search. And the cool thing about instant search with Algolia is that you've got out of the box React, Vue, Angular components, which is super handy for a lot. And the docs actually have all those flavors built in. You also have Android and iOS and some other stuff, but we want React today. All right, installation. Again, terrible at remembering all this stuff. Let's see. Want to install this. Well, that installs. Let's continue going down. And this is all the stuff that we're going to want. So let's grab this and we're going to put this inside of our component, which is, let's close out a few things that are confusing me. Keep your workspaces tidy, y'all. I swear. All right. So we have our imports. We've got our const. We've got all of this, which needs to come into our instant search in our return statement. We don't actually want children anymore because we actually want this to be, this might get us into confusing territory. There's already an instant search component. We'll see if that has issues or not. I don't think it will. I think no, we're setting a variable here. We have to have it named different. That's fine. We'll make this just a capital S search. I think that'll be okay. Search, change this out. Yeah, errors, no worries. All right. So I didn't actually do anything. And then I saved everything. Let's see how good or bad that goes. Yeah, parse error. That's fine. That's expected. I always like to see how I break things. All right, yeah, no worries. That's to be expected because we actually didn't configure our instant search at all. I just wanted to see what would happen. So we need our app ID, which we have in our environment variables, which process.env. What are my environment variables? Don't want to show the .env file because that actually does have a sensitive variable. So let's go find our app ID elsewhere. Here we go. Algolia app ID. All right, so that's the app ID, and we need our search only API. This one's not as sensitive, but I do already have that. I don't think it's that. Thank you, GitHub Copilot. But let's, that's in here. Yeah, search key. You did your best, GitHub Copilot. You did your best. All right, save that. We need to export this out. All right. Export default search, our components name search. We have a search client built from Algolia search. We got our components for instant search, the search box, and the hits template, and we used them. Index name is not this, it was something else, which I have back here. So here's actually the index that has all the videos. So we can actually do search inside here too, and we can see James videos. Here's learning Auth0 by building a project with James Q Quick. Hope you're still around, James. Shout out to James. So yeah, let's grab this this index name. You can also see, oh no, I had this already as an environment variable. Index name, process.env. And again, this is also that if you were to install this via the Netlify deploy script, you would just fill these out and you'd have it ready to go. Thanks for tuning in today, Mac. See you down the road. See you in the Learn, Build, Teach Discord. All right, so index name. Don't need that to be a string anymore. We need that to be a variable. So it's going to take the curly braces, process.env.video index, which is a terrible environment variable name, but we roll with it. We make do with what we can. And let's go ahead and bring that down here. All right, still getting the parse error. Let's see what we need to do to fix this. Again, this is all broken driven development, breaking driven development. Let's zoom in again, because I'll tell y'all, my eyes are not what they used to be. All right, what don't you like? Problem building the file. Thank you, Snowpack. Parse error at 1.1. That's not a helpful error. All right, let's see. All right, so we have instant search, import all that, grabbing that. All right, and then in our index, we need, here we go. Yep. Search is now the name of our component and is no longer a child tag. It is now a self-closing tag. Property children is missing in type. What? I don't have children anymore. No children here other than my actual child, but that's neither here nor there. Let's restart. Yeah, you really want there to be children. Okay. Search should not have, oh, it's working. There we go. All right. So we now have search. Search isn't doing anything yet, looks like. Let's see what's happening in console when I search. All right. So we'll have to figure out our template, it looks like. So, no, see, you're wrong, VS Code. You're wrong. You're just wrong. There you go. All right. Close it, open it. It thinks it's right now. All right, so let's take a look at our docs and get a hits example up and running, which I think we need to set up our template for. So let's see, widgets, widget showcase. We need our hits widget. So let's see, here's the hits widget, and I need the docs on that. This is currently infinite hits, but that's fine. It needs an optional hit component. So let's do that and let's define it out. And let's make sure before we start anything else. Okay, yeah, let's just do this. The simplest, the easiest. All right, const up there for the hit component. Replace this hits with that hit component. So basically what we're doing here is we're passing a prop of hit component, which is that variable that we should create up above. That is going to get an entire object of stuff. One of the things is the result, each of those individually, and that has a name or a title. Let's take a look at our yeah, a title in our case. So we actually want that. So instead of hit.name, we want hit.title. And let's see what we get. Nothing. Do I have React Dev Tools installed here? Oh. All right. I've been bitten by this before. So remember how we talked a little bit earlier about Astro being these islands of interactivity? Islands of interactivity, right? As it turns out, you have to tell it when to hydrate. So there's absolutely no front-end JS happening here. No front-end JS happening because we haven't told it to happen. But we do that with its own prop on the component when we initialize it. So we've got search. This is only rendering statically, right? So it's getting from the instant search library the most like what it can get, which it can't get anything in terms of hits and data because that's just not the way that that works. That happens dynamically on the fly when you do your searches. So we need to tell this when to rehydrate, which in this case we want to happen on load. And you can see there's a few different things you can do. It's probably best if we do idle on this, but you can do on page load, on first idle cycles. I don't know what media does, to be honest, or when visible. So visible would be using like intersection observer. So when a user scrolls and this component comes into view, rehydrate. This is a pretty key component, so I either probably want load or idle. I'm gonna do load just so that we've got it ready and raring to go. Okay, we have errors now. That's good. I prefer errors to no errors. So let's see. Couldn't fetch dynamically imported module. I feel like I've run into that before. Aha. Okay, it's trying to get React. Maybe we don't need React here. Maybe Astro is automatically doing this for us. Let's see. All right, console. Still getting that. Okay. Blocked by CORS policy, node events. I think that's okay. Algolia search helper is failing. Fail and promise. Yeah, okay. Okay. What was the solution to this? I ran into this before. Like I said, we're into kind of floundering territory here. I got to remember, what was the solution to this? Is it the import statement it doesn't like? I think import statement's fine here. All right, let's go back to Colby's article. His only deals with statically rendered, and it's working statically. Let's see. I don't think he talks about anything past that. Okay, hydrating React in the client with Astro. Perfect. Colby thinks of everything. Again, if y'all weren't here earlier, this is Colby's article on using React with Astro. And I've used it a couple of times on my own trying to figure this stuff out. All right, so handle click. So that's obviously important client-side functionality. So button on load. But he's not importing anything. He's not having to worry about imports. Okay. I have fixed this before. I have had to deal with this, and I have zero recollection on what I had to do to fix this. I think I know what to Google at least. Astro.js. We need Astro.js import node module. It's like you, hey Natwar, how's it going? It's like you learning regex. Yeah, it's like me learning regex for that matter. Supported imports. Okay, let's see. Astro components, JavaScript. What about my npm packages? Here we go. Astro lets you import npm packages directly in the browser, even if a package was published using a legacy format. Astro will upconvert, handy. When you start up your dev server or run a new build, you may see a message, no package. Okay. I wonder if we've run into that issue. I think we restarted already, but let's restart again anyway. Because if there aren't dependencies, it has to go grab those dependencies and then insert them into its own tree, its own working tree to deal with. But obviously didn't like that. Access to script node events from origin localhost 88 has been blocked by CORS policy. Great, I really wanted to deal with CORS today. Only supported for protocol schemes, HTTP, data, Chrome, okay. Like, I get you. I understand. All right, so it says it automatically supports it. Node built-ins, it supports. I'm guessing no one in chat has used Astro yet, but if you have and you've run into this, do let me know. All right, so let's run through exactly what happened when this started up. All right, so it got all of our environment variables from Netlify. That's neither here nor there. We can create a project config, but we shouldn't need to do that. Watching for file changes, starting the server. All right, so basically it's not able to find, so I think we do still need React, right? It just wasn't able to find it. And I'm wondering if that has anything to do with that CORS error. Let's see. All right. So, I mean, this is really failed to fetch dynamically imported module. This is the crux of our issue. But if we go back up, we can see it's not fetching Algolia search helper from node events, and it's not able to access node events because of this CORS. Thanks, James. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Thanks for Learn, Build, Teach, where so many folks came from today. Appreciate it. And learning quick soon. Learning quick soon on Algolia. So this just won't work at all because it's not. There's no JavaScript to it. Let's see. I really thought I had React DevTools, but that might be in my other profile. I'll have to install it onto this one. All right. Let's just look up CORS event node, or was it node event? Goldfish memory, right? Node events. All right. Haven't dealt with this yet, so let's take a look. Node events. Local host, right? Because that seems to be the main issue here. I don't want to just do some random app.use. That doesn't seem right. Handling CORS with Node.js. That doesn't seem like it's going to be helpful for us. By default, requests from other origins will be restricted by the browser. For example, while you're running in development stage, front-end library like React. Okay, maybe this will be helpful. Meanwhile, your Express server is at 2020. Yeah, that's kind of what we're dealing with here. You'll need to allow CORS between those servers. If you see this, which is what we're seeing, CORS is really useful. Yep, I agree. Also, if you want to use your own API, blah, 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 configuring CORS with Express. I don't really want to do a full configuration because, again, this isn't my thing. I wonder if this is an issue with Netlify Dev and Astro. So if we just run npm start, what's that get us? All right, so let's try different. That's going to be localhost 3000. DevTools. Okay, no, we still have the same issue. So it's not the fact that we're running on those different servers. Let's try Netlify Dev, CORS, Node, events. According to DigitalOcean, we're going to solve CORS once and for all with Netlify Dev. And they might be right. Let's see. Oh no, you think, I've seen this before. How do I fix this again? Exactly. All right, so there's this proxy idea. That's what's happening here. We've got these folders. That's fine. We've got functions. That's what I did to set up these functions. Got node fetch. Okay, so basically they're setting up a proxy. I don't want to set up a whole proxy for this. Deploying and getting rid of cores in production. I don't want to do that. Okay. Not what we need. Not what we need. Thank you for the follow, Ahmed. Appreciate it. Hope your day is going well today. It is a cold but lovely day here in Michigan, here in the US. So I hope it is lovely where you are as well. I really think this boils down to Snowpack. Snowpack plus Netlify Dev, I feel. Astro.js, Snowpack, cores, localhost. Problem with cores. Okay, this is what we're getting, but Flofa apparently is not perturbed about it. Found out it wasn't a problem with Snowpack. My setup was I had Snowpack and an API running separately, but Snowpack's dev servers would send requests to the Node API. The problem was the Node API didn't have cores. To fix this, just installed cores Node module. Okay, then basically did app. But I don't want to do that. Okay. Again, that doesn't feel quite right. Ooh, Astro is fresh but familiar approach. Let's see what best of React.js has to say about this. Awesome, Natwar. See you later. Appreciate you you hanging out with us for a little bit. All right. Important. Okay. ESM modules. Do you have anything about cores? No? Why are you a search result for me? Okay. Not what we need. All right. Let's take a look at something else real fast. Because again, I feel like I've had to solve this issue already, and it's gonna drive me a little batty. CD. Did I solve it over here? When in doubt, consult your old code. But I don't think that I did. Because I did some real janky stuff in this project. I was using Sanity, and the Sanity .io JS client is fine being run as Node and fine being run in the client, and has issues. And Astro has issues determining which is which, and it just sees a window dot something in the Sanity client and gets very confused. But I feel like there was something in here. Maybe this is where I fixed it. Astro config. That's all what we already have. Netlify toml. Nothing new. Let's see. Like button. Nothing fancy going on there. I mean, there's lots of fancy going on there, but nothing that we need. Image card. Didn't get very far on that. This is right here. This component is exactly where I switched back to 11D and then started playing with Slinkity there. We got functions, but again, the functions aren't being run. So the functions aren't causing our cores issue. The cores issue is coming. It's coming when it's trying to fetch. It's trying to fetch that import, right? This is unhelpful. It's pretty print, please. All right, Astro root, Astro fragment, module. Here's the Snowpack client. Here's all the HTML that is rendered. I mean, this is interesting enough to look at, right? This is all the HTML that's rendered by Astro, and there's an ID on it, and then we'll use that. That gets used to bring all this together, assuming that it's able to pull all that in. Const default component, default hydrate. See, yeah, here's where things are going wrong, right? it's trying to find these things. Promise.all import, and it's not able to grab it, even though it's on the same. That's the same thing, right? It's the same origin issue. From origin localhost 3000. Okay. Yeah. No. Oh, but I'm on 3000. So why isn't it working on 3000? I understand why it's not working in my Netlify dev. I don't understand why it's not working here. All right, let's take a look. I don't think it is going to be, I don't think the answer is in here. We can look one other place maybe. Code in autocomplete Astro. This was my tester for being ready to use all of this for Learn with Jason. All right, so okay, it's doing these imports and it's importing this. I'm kind of curious now. Let's stop our server here. Oh, but we actually have an issue there that I didn't see before. First things first, always check console, right? Always check your console. Let's refresh this page again, see if we get that same error. Okay, the prop index name is marked as required in instant search, but has a value of undefined. Okay, so this could be the issue, right? It could be short-circuiting everything that we already need. So we have, okay, what's it saying? Index name? Index name is supposed to be, see, I was, okay. All right, hold on. I think we can fix this. Astro, I was using .env before for my environment variables. That's astronomer, not what I need. Astrojs. Environment variables. Node version. I don't really care about all that. I just want to know what the file name needs to be. It's a different file name than what I expected. It's not just .env. It's .env.local, I think. Deploy an Astro site, change log. Oh, we can look in our other projects, right? I was just in these other projects. Do we have a .env for either of them? Not in this one. And I feel like we got to have it in this one, but I think I was probably just being lazy, and yeah, there's .env, so that's also not right. All right, let's, I want to say it's .env.local. So let's rename, there it is. I want this to be .env.local. Restart it. I really feel like there's a piece of documentation somewhere. I remember seeing it. I absolutely remember seeing it. Project structure, maybe. Not in here. That's all right. That's all right. Let's see. All right. No issues there. We're still getting errors, and we're still getting the same error. So I feel like that's partially where things are going wrong, right? These environment variables aren't being processed. Although it's still this issue, right? It's hitting it there. But it might not be able to build. That's the current hypothesis. So let's, I'm going to take this off screen for a second so I can double check my environment variables. Y'all enjoy the messiest desktop of all time. Here, let's go back to head. Let's see. .env, where are you? All right, I have all of those. Changed it back to .env. I'm going to use the .env package. I feel like that's for the best short term. I think we'll see. So we need to configure that. So we run require .env.config. Oh, and things break. Breaking's good. Breaking's better than before. Use import. Okay, that's a thing. All right, import .env from. I guess we actually need to do it this way, right? From .env. I don't remember if it needs to be, if it's a default or if it's not a default. And we'll restart the server since we have a new dependency for dependency management. Okay, no big errors this time. So that means at least the installation went. And then we also need to .env.config. Oh, new errors. Okay. But I'm not using. I'm using an import now. Use import instead of require. To load .env from. There we go. Okay. New errors. Okay. Still cores errors. Yeah, it can't find .env now. I can't find the things in .env. So basically we've added to our stack now. Okay. That's fine. We've added to that issue. Am I missing anything here? Oh, you're not even looking at my screen. Hey, how's it going, y'all? Welcome. Year and a half hiatus. That's what we get. All right. So .env wasn't the issue. I'm feeling relatively confident in saying that. So the issue is still this cores issue. But I'm very confused as to why I'm getting the cores issue on localhost 3000. Like I said, totally I get why it would be the case for Netlify Dev. Netlify Dev is going to run on port 8888. And the port 3000 is going to be running the Astro imports. I mean, that makes sense to me, although it's just a proxy server, so it shouldn't be a big deal. But what is causing the issue? So, Astrojs localhost import. Here, let's simplify, right? Reduce test case. So, what do we actually need? Hey, thanks for the follow, Madi. Appreciate it. Let's go ahead and set up a new search up here. And see, I mean, this is working, right? Like the fact that, but it still gets hung up. Anyway, we're gonna return out h1 hello world. So we've got a nice reduced test case here. Save that. Doesn't like that for some search because we have to export it. Yep. Export default search. All right. You like that better, Astro? I hope you do. Thank you. All right. All right. Hello world. Now let's tell it. I think. So client load is a thing, but I also think client only is a thing. It's recommended not to do client only. And this is the error you'd kind of expect from it. Expected server HTML to contain a matching H1 in Astro root. And that's because we're not loading it in the server. So that import's working. So this works client side. Is that accurate to say? I feel like that's accurate to say. Let's see. Can we, inside of this component, so we can run console log client side? Let's put a question mark. Important not to be too confident on this. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. Awesome. So let's go one layer deeper. Let's make a new component, test.jsx. Let's have this test. Let's return. Yeah, that's fine. Div with an H1. Perfect. Awesome. I need all the divs, right? And then we export that. Default test. Let's import that into this one. Because the issue that we're having is when a component is importing. That seems to be the issue currently. So import test from test. And I have to do .js on this, or .jsx. I think I can do either one, but .jsx on that. And then we have to use it, right? That would be helpful. So, sure div, bring in test, also have hello world, so we can have a little bit of both. Save it, see if that dynamic import works. So, what I'm thinking here, and I could be very wrong about this. I most likely am wrong about this. What I'm thinking is happening is that it's the same thing that I ran into with the Sandy client a couple of weeks back, trying to play with Astro on this. I think what's happening is that when the imports are coming from something that has, okay, screw it. Let's test it. I'm feeling like maybe the instant search library has some things in it that the Astro doesn't want to have happen, right? Astro, when it's running in node mode, needs things in a specific way. When it's running in client side mode, needs things in a specific way. And I'm wondering if we're getting something from our imports. But import React, again, we don't need that, as we're finding out here, right? We're writing React. We don't need this to be to import React unless we're using specific pieces out of React. We don't need that. So I think we're good on that. I mean, let's slowly piece this back together, right? I think that's for the best. All right, so import those. We're not going to use them yet. We're going to see if the import breaks. And the import breaks it for cores for the exact same reason. So now the question is this an NPM, a node modules issue, or is this an issue of Love watching the viewership count drop as Brian does not understand things. It works out real well for us. Let's see. So we import these and it breaks. If we import just one, does it continue to break? Okay. So the issue as it currently stands appears to be instant search, which is still odd to me. Because it should be, these should actually be the happiest pieces, right? Algolia search is just a JavaScript SDK, right? Instant search React is specifically instant search bits for the front end, specifically meant to like be brought in the way that Astro wants them brought in, right? Right. Totally. So why doesn't it like it? All right. Import Algolia search works and it's fine. And then importing those fails because it's trying to dynamically import them. And it's trying, okay, yeah, I mean, it's this CORS issue, but I don't actually have access to the way that the CORS policy is being set in the server because it's not my server, it's Astro's server, right? Right, right. Access to node events from origin. Localhost 3000, which I'm currently calling from. I'm calling from localhost 3000, has been blocked by CORS policy. Cross-origin requests are only supported for protocol schemes HTTP, data, Chrome, Chrome extension, Chrome untrusted, HTTPS. I mean, technically, we're on HTTP. That's just me getting snarky with DevTools here. Hmm. Astrojs node module CORS error. See, none of these are specifically around Astro. Again, this is like the fun of playing with super early technology is that not a lot to Google for yet, which also means that should I figure this out again, because I know I've had this error. Should I figure this out again, I really do need to write it up. What is this? What are you doing, Google? Interesting. Let's find that error. Let's grab that error. Let's do a search on just the error. Astrojs and the error. I mean, trying to load a 3D model with JSON loader. This is not what we need here. I guess if you want to do must include, it's quotes around that. Yep, 0. Awesome. It looks like there aren't many great matches for your search. Thank you, Google. I appreciate it. npm install, npm start. We've got Astro dev. Basic usage, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we've seen this one before. We looked at this one before. I'm just hoping that it prompts something new in my brain at this point. Astrojs dynamic import CORS. That's Meteor. Meteor has this issue. Good to know. This is the page we've already looked at, I'm pretty sure. Dynamic import. Not even this page. Again, let's make sure that this is only for Astrojs. All right, let's go to astro.build and let's go to the actual, let's see if there's any issues. I feel like we should be able to find an issue around this. Nope. Dynamic. I mean, so what I'm gonna end up doing, right, is off stream, because I have to finish up the stream in about 15 minutes. I'm gonna send a message in the Discord, in the Astro Discord, and like figure out where I'm going wrong here. Dynamic import, right? Just heap out of memory, first class pug support, view dynamic components, Firestore, SSR, images. Astrojs, React, client side. because it's an issue of the partial hydration. That's where we run into the issue. Is when it tries to put this into the client, we run into it. It is kind of cool. I like this idea, right? To hydrate at a query, at a media query. I think that's interesting. Okay. Client only, my custom renderer. I don't want to make a custom renderer. No desire to make a custom renderer. Import. So this is not in a component, right? This is importing this hydratable component. I mean, I feel like I don't want to do this. This is how I would do it in Node, right? With a require statement. And that's not what I should be doing here. Yeah, that's fine. Require is not defined. I can get, like I went through this before with the sanity stuff. I got require up and running, but that's not what I need. I need a dynamic import. I'm trying to think of what's a super simple npm package that does like nothing, that just like inserts a div. Npm package inserts an h1. We want it to be React, right? React component insert h1 npm. I just want something as simple as possible, like the absolute simplest, dumbest, most pointless, maybe date, right? React import date format. React moment, sure. We don't really want to use moment anymore, right? Like that's no good. Moment is end of life, but let's see what happens. We're gonna have to restart our server. So instead of this, let's do the simplest example from this. Moment from React moment. First, let's see if that works. All right, we can see here, right? Snowpack installed React moment. It added it in to our tree. So the issue will occur when it's trying to load. Okay, so we're not getting an error there. So what's the simplest use of React moment? So let's grab this, right? And this is what needs to happen. So get this up here. Our date time to format is this 1976 time. We put it inside of a moment. Okay, so here's what we've tracked down, right? And it's not an ideal situation here because this is, again, like early technology. And I thought we were gonna get a lot further than this, but running into this sort of thing I think is really interesting. The issue appears to be within the libraries we're trying to, but why? That shouldn't do that. Let's package.json. React instance search DOM exists. So if that exists already, then, and it exists at the same level, right, as React moment. It doesn't have to go do further stuff. Here, all right, you know what we're gonna do? What we should have done a long time ago, what should always be like the very first thing you do when you run into stuff like this, right? Let's reinstall everything. Remove node modules, reinstall all of our node modules, and see if maybe, actually, let's go ahead and run Astro again and make sure it errors, right? What? Astro is not found? Yeah, because it's, okay. Fine. MPMI. That's what I get. I was like, no, cancel that. Like, I need to make sure the Astro is going to error properly, but no. Astro is not installed anymore. All right. npm start. Okay. Reinstalling all that nonsense. That's good. I really appreciate that the Astro was able to figure out that I needed all that reinstalled. Interesting that it comes with a Prism component. Should look into that. That'll be handy if I ever like put this into my blog in some way. All right. What you got for me? All right. This is still working. Glad to see that still working. That was working before. Now, here's where things will break. Okay, but look. Okay, it's installing all that. Beautiful. Look at all the things it installed. It installed all that, but now we run into cores. But why? These things theoretically exist on this origin. I think we're just going to have to call it a day. I think we're going to be defeated at the end of this. There's got to be something about this library itself, right? Like, there has to be something about the React instance search, or there has to be something about how some of these external things work. Because again, I ran into this with Sanity. These are client side, and they're meant to be imported like this, and it's supposed to automatically upscale to ESM for working on like the server render, on the static render. It's supposed to do that automatically for you, but then on the dynamic import, but again, like, that doesn't make any sense. The error doesn't make sense. That's kind of the issue that I'm at right now. If it can import one, it should be able to import all, unless there's something that's not building and going over there. But I mean, what is it? What is it actually doing, I suppose, is a key, right? And I don't honestly fully know. We do have this hydrate. Could not load content from localhost source front-end hydrate only TS. I mean, let's see what happens when we go into index again. Instead of client only, we'll do client load. This is the interesting thing, right? Like, we're getting our console log in Node, and then we're running into issues here, right? So this is rendering statically. All this is rendered statically, and if I refresh, our time shouldn't change because it's not now, but see, yeah, it's localhost :1. Like, that's unhelpful. That's not what you want. But none of this should work inside of the other as well. Unless only is not an actual thing, right? It's not assignable. Children any property client load. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Astro component syntax. It's in hydrating, right? Partial hydration. Client load, idle, visible, query, only. Only is a thing. It's still a thing. And it's like, really don't do that. Component will be skipped at build time, which I kind of would be fine with. I'd be absolutely fine with this component being skipped at build time, because it's meant for the front end. It's meant 100% for the front end. The other thing would be, can I define this here? We can try that, right? Like, let's cut this from here, and let's make sure that the page loads as we expect it to. No errors. Can we import this in our front matter. Okay, no issues here. So this might be an issue of bouncing this around. So let's grab everything that we need, right? React, we don't need this or that. We need all of this, I'm pretty sure, all the way through down to there. Save that. And then, I mean, I don't think this is gonna work. It feels weird that it would work. But I'm more than happy to give it a try. Don't need search anymore here because search is being defined here. Save that. Yeah, errors. That's fine. That's what I expect, to be honest. Because it is statically defined in the front matter script. Hydration directives may only be used on imported components. Yeah. Okay. Am I importing it wrong? Like that? That's how that should be. Yeah, this is gonna be like ticket to the Astro team. So yeah. Hey, got some sake. Thanks for the follow. Yeah, we're gonna run this up the flag over to the Astro team. I'm gonna find out about this. We'll do this again. I think those of you who hung out and have been here for a little while, I appreciate it. First and foremost, it's my first like stream back on this channel in a long time. So yeah, I appreciate you being here. And I think I'm gonna maybe we'll make this like a Monday afternoon thing. Maybe I'll be able to stream multiple times a week. Yeah, the only downside to streaming and like having kind of this stuff happen is it's hard for me to like reach out on Discord to somebody to be like, hey, what the hell, y'all, help me out. But that's what I'm gonna do, right? As soon as I'm off here, before I've got a meeting in like 20 minutes, I'm gonna hang out and go over to the Astro Discord and be like, hey, I was building today and things went horribly wrong. I did this. What do you think should be happening here? And again, like I really think, and maybe I should have pulled up Discord earlier and like gone back through my messages because they helped me work through some stuff with Sanity a couple weeks ago, and it was really interesting. So like I don't really. I wish I had that. I mean, I'll pull that up real fast and we'll chat. How are you doing today, God's Mistake? Appreciate you tuning in. I don't know how long you've been here, but appreciate you saying hi. All right, let me go into. I mean, we can see this, right? It's all in Astro's Discord. I'm gonna see if I can find where they helped me out. I'm sure it's something like super easy that I just didn't think through. All right. Let's find in this channel from me. I think that's me. No. Downside to Discord is like the usernames are all super weird. Who am I? Let's see. And again, another problem is this was a while ago, and obviously they've got plenty of things. Just on your channel in new dev. Nice. Hey, how's it going? How's your afternoon been, or your day, or your morning, or wherever you are? All right, let's just leave them a message live. I think that'll be fine. They're super helpful, which is nice. Hey y'all, working on doing some things with Algolia instant search for React, running into dynamic import cores errors. Let's grab the error. Let's get to the error first and foremost. We got to error it out again. All right, we'll import all this and that will break it. There we go. let's see. Not sure on the proper fix. It seems to be trying to run a script from port 1, and Cores doesn't like that. Always be as verbose as you can be when you're leaving a support question. It only happens from some React components in node modules. Not sure if it's the modules or something different. Cool. We'll see. We'll see if I get anything on that. You've been studying. Cool. I've been doing email a lot this morning. Had some meetings, and then decided that I could do some live streaming. And it's been a hot minute since I've live streamed on this channel. Yeah, I wasn't showing the code. I was actually I want to do that live. Like, here's Astro is a very small framework, right? It's very new. But they have a nice active Discord, which is super handy. They've got an entire support channel in there. So when you run into issues, you can be like, I don't know, y'all. Oh, I'm not showing my screen at all, even. Yeah. Now you're just watching me type. That must have been super fun. Yeah, definitely a productive day. And I get to, like, after this, I get to go hang out with my DevRel colleague from Algolia, and we do our one-on-ones Monday afternoons. So I'm gonna get to do that. And maybe do a couple more things before my son gets home for the afternoon. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, thank you all for hanging out with me today. Like I said, I'm going to be doing this hopefully more again soon. I like it. I love live coding. It's one of my favorite things to do. I think it's a good forcer, right? It forces me to get back into code and to, like, talk and think about code in a much different way. So I can't wait to figure this problem out with the Astro team and then, like, write a blog post on it. Because I think that would be good for me, right? Next time I run into this, I can go find my own blog post. But yeah, let's plan on maybe doing this again later this week, and maybe do some more of this. I think this is a cool use case. I really want to get this dashboard up and running. So thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks, God's mistake, for chatting these past few minutes, and we'll see y'all next time. I need to get a new outgoing scene. This obviously doesn't make any sense, but we'll see you again soon.